Hey guys, I'm Casey Lynch, Editor-in-Chief of IGN. Choosing IGN's Game of the Year is a part of a process that lasts several months and involves our own judges panel, which is made up of full-time IGN staff members who review games. Starting in mid-October, we begin compiling long lists of our favorite games, the best scored games, and games we think should be included in the Game of the Year discussion. Then, as we get closer to the end of the year, we continue filling out those lists. Our criteria for assembling our nomination list for Game of the Year isn't as simple as slapping all the highest reviewed games of the year together and just voting. A game has to be more than just good or fun or entertaining. We look for the games we think we'll be talking about for years to come. The games that we'll look back on and say, those are the games that 2012 will be most remembered for. This means making sure that we have all the right games included in that conversation, whether they be a AAA sequel or a brand new concept from a development team of only 2 people. This affects the way that we organize both Game of the Year and our platform and genre awards. It would be silly to create a category to recognize the best games you bought at a store or the best games you have to unwrap. We're already at the point where we can download traditionally retail games. Assassin's Creed 3, Call of Duty Black Ops 2. You can buy these games digitally on day one. Hence, you're not going to find a best downloadable game or best indie game category on our best of 2012 awards list. Instead, we've allowed games to simply be games, and we're including games of every sort in our Game of the Year consideration. Just look at our nominee list. We've got games like Borderlands 2 and Dishonored right next to games like FTL, Hotline Miami, and The Walking Dead. We really feel like this reflects the direction of our industry and does right by the games and the wonderfully gifted people who make them. Once our judges assemble our preliminary list, then we host a ton of meetings where we discuss everything. A lot. From there, we narrow things down to about 35 games. A version of this list is eventually what becomes the People's Choice nominations, so if you're curious to see what games made that larger list, you can definitely check that out. Once that list is done, then the real work begins. Each of the final contenders is then demoed for the judges panel, which gives every editor a chance to hear from another editor why each game is important, what makes it special, and why it's in the running for the Game of the Year. From there, we build a chart, because we love charts, that we use to track how much each game each judge has played, so we can see who needs to spend more time with what games. By the time everyone votes, we're sure that every judge is prepared to weigh in. These end-of-the-year meetings are some of the best talks that we have at IGN. Everyone has a different take on each game and a different reason why each game should or shouldn't be in consideration for Game of the Year. It's from these conversations that we will also start to build out what will eventually become our genre and platform lists. It's the narrowing down that's the toughest part, and traditionally it's been even more difficult, as usually we only nominate 5 games for Game of the Year. This year we felt like we really couldn't offer a true expression of the best games of 2012 with only 5 games, so we included 10. So while a game may not become a contender for Game of the Year, it might still be in the running for Best PS3 Game, Best PC Game, or even Best Story or Best Sound Design, etc. This year we did something totally different as well to announce our nominees by unveiling them during a live event called Judgment Day, where we hosted each of the 10 developers of our Game of the Year nominees and talked with them about their game live on IGN, on YouTube, on Twitch, and on our Xbox Live app. We also set up a huge demo area and invited fans and readers to come to the office and meet the teams and see the games. This included an hour-long panel where the developers answered questions from the crowd and from people on Twitter. As always, our goal with our best ofs and the Game of the Year is to elevate the conversation around the best games. That also includes our People's Choice Awards, which gives you a chance to vote and choose your own winners. We look forward to hearing what you think of our choices and seeing how they align with your picks. 2012 was a great year for us at IGN, mostly thanks to you. So here's to you. Happy holidays and happy new beer.